I reckon what you want to know is what I'm a-doing in here. Reckon the reason I'm in here is 'cause I killed somebody. But I reckon what you want to know is how come I was to kill somebody. Well, I reckon I'll start at the front and tell you. I lived most of my life out behind my mother and father's house in a little old shed my daddy had built for me. They didn't want me up there in the house with the rest of them. I just mostly sit out there in the shed all the time looking at the ground. It didn't have no floor, but I had me a hole dug out to lay down in there and a quilter to throw down there to lay on. My daddy was a hard-working man most of his life. Not that I can say the same for myself. I just mostly sit out there around there in the shed, tinkered with a lawnmower too, went to school off and on from time to time. With the children there at the schoolhouse, they made quite a bit of sport of me, made fun of me quite a bit. Some of them even roughed me up sometimes. So mostly I just stayed out there in the shed. My daddy worked down there at the sawmill, down there at the planer mill, for an old man named Dixon. Old man Dixon, he's a very cruel feller. He didn't treat his employees very well, didn't pay them too much of a wage, didn't pay my daddy too much of a wage, just barely enough to scrape by on. But I reckon we got by all right. They come out, one or the other of them, usually my mother. They fed me pretty regular. At least I know that he made enough for me to have mustard and biscuits 3 or 4 times a week. Old man Dixon had a boy named Jesse Dixon. Jesse was really more cruel than his daddy was. He made quite a bit of sport of me, and he'd take advantage of the little girls there around the neighborhood quite a bit. They used to say my mother was a very pretty woman. They said that quite a bit from time to time when I was down there at the schoolhouse. Well, I reckon you want me to get on to with it, and I'll tell you what happened, so I reckon I'll tell you. I was sitting out there in the shed one evening, not doing too much of nothing, just kind of staring at the ground, waiting for my mother to come out and give me my Bible lesson. And all of a sudden, I heard a commotion up there in the house. So I got up and ran up there on the screened-in porch there to see what was going on. I looked in the kitchen window, and I seen my mother laying on the floor without no clothes on. And I seen Jesse Dixon laying on top of her, having his way with her. Well, I just seen red. I picked up a Kaiser blade that was laying there by the screen door. Some folks calls it a sling blade. I calls it a Kaiser blade. It's just a long handle, kind of like a lax handle, with a long blade on it, shaped kind of like a banana, sharp on one edge, dull on the other. It's what the highway boys use to knock down weeds and stuff. I just went in the kitchen there and I hit Jesse upside the head with it and knocked him off my mother. Well, I reckon that didn't quite satisfy me, so I hit him again with a sharp edge and plumb near cut his head off. Killed him. Well, my mother, she jumped up there and started yelling, "What'd you kill Jesse for? What'd you kill Jesse for?" Well, come to find out, my mother didn't really mind what Jesse was a-doing to her. I reckon that made me madder than what Jesse had made me. I take the Kaiser blade. Some folks calls it a sling blade. Some folks calls it a sling blade. I calls it a Kaiser blade. And I hit my mother upside the head with it. Killed her. Some folks has asked me if I had it to do over again. Would I do the same thing? I don't know. I reckon I would. Anyhow, they seem to put me in here, and I've been here for a great long while. I've learned to read some. It took me 4 years to read the Bible. I reckon I understand a good deal of it. It wasn't what I expected in a lot of places. I slept in a good bed for quite a long while. They seem to put me out of here now. They tell me they're setting me free today. Anyhow, I reckon that's all you need to know. If you want more details, I reckon I can tell you. I don't know if that's enough for your newspaper or not.